Hey guys, so I'm going to do this quick review on the week. So just to kind of let you know what happened in Gold and NASDAQ. So first things first, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let's start on Monday. So let me just kind of backtrack here. So just give me a second to mark out Monday. So Monday. Okay, so this was Monday. So Monday, what I do, of course, every single day is I look at the 4-hour chart just to get my context. So for gold, I always look at the 1 o'clock candle. I look to see, basically where it's at. So, and obviously the flow of price. So right now, obviously we can see that price is bullish. So I'm going to mark this level here because it's the closest OHLC. So if I go to Monday, mark this level here, then I go to Monday. Then I go to the 1 hour, and then I can see prices pretty much creating a higher high and higher low, right? So now I need to find if there's any setup that makes sense to continue to move up. So this is where I would drop down time frames. Now I have context. I know price is bullish. I know I'm looking for buys. So now I just kind of need to see if there's any setup. So I just shift this to over here. So this is the higher high and higher low. I don't see any setup. Go to the 15. Let's take a look and see if there's anything on the 15. And there is. This is where I found a QMR pattern. So this is the QMR. So you have the low, high, lower low, higher high, and then price came here. And then that was the trade for Monday. So that was Monday. So just a QMR pattern. So again, reset to the 4-hour every day. Okay, now let's go for Tuesday. So Tuesday, I noticed there's a level of support here, right? And I noticed that the 1-hour candle closed bearish. So most likely this is going to be a potential higher low in order to go higher. So I'm just using logic and I'm just using flow. So most likely this is a higher low. Then what I'm going to do is look at the 1 hour and see if it makes sense. So this is for Tuesday. So this is a potential higher low area, right? So now we have the highest point here. Price, this would have been the higher low. Price broke it. So now price is in between a lower high and a lower low. Even though the 4-hour is bullish, the 1 hour is bearish. So I need the time frame to shift. I don't wait for the 1 hour to shift back to bullish. I go to lower time frames to look for the shift. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'll go to the 30 to the 15 minute most of the time. Now you can see the 30 minute is still bearish. These are the same levels, right? So I go to the 15. And if you notice that this was the last level that was broken, you can see I'm looking at the bodies of the candle on the 15, right? So then this becomes the lower low. And then this became the higher high. Lower high and the lower low. And then now structure has officially shifted bullish. So once it's shifted bullish, I'm looking for setups to buy, right? So now you obviously have a break and retest here. You can, if you were to use this, you may have gotten stopped out depending on, the size of your take profit. The size of your stop loss, which is absolutely fine. If you wait a little bit longer, you can see that there's an SNRC 2. So you could have gotten a second chance to enter here. So these were the two. This is basically the setup. And then if you go to the 30-minute time frame, you can see what the correct levels were. So if you look at the 30-minute time frame, we already have the shift. So now I just use the 30-minute for the levels and see if they make sense. And then I drop down to the 15, right? Now, if you guys remember me saying to you that I split risk, like I consider them tokens, right? So essentially, this is what I did. So just going to show you. So I'm risking 0.25% here, right? This would be another 0.25% because I'm splitting my risk. I don't know which one's going to get hit and get stopped out. So first position, got closing price. I took the trade. So just kind of show you. I got stopped out. So let me just put my stop loss is always 3 points, just so you can see. So I got stopped out in this position. I had 2 pending orders at both of these levels. So now I use this one. right? Same thing, I'm just going to show you. Oops. Sorry about that. So first position gets me stopped out. Second position, obviously it hits way beyond take profit. It got the take profit 2. So take profit 1 is 12 points, and then take profit 2 for me is 24 points because I look for a 1 to 4 or a 1 to 8. So even if you get stopped out, you got to have basically 2 levels that you're looking for to buy or sell at, right? And that's basically what I do. So if this position gets stopped out, I'll just mark that as red. That was a loss, but this ends up being a win. Then this win ends up canceling out this loss, right? So that's why I tell you guys you got to focus on the losing side, because the only thing you can control is the losing side, how much you're willing to lose. So I'm willing to lose 25% here and 0.25% here in order to find out, if I'm right. And then obviously this trade ended up being correct. So I hope that makes sense. I just want to give you some context and an idea of how I approach risk management. So that was Tuesday. So same thing. I always reset Tuesday. Now I go to Wednesday. So Wednesday was this day right here. So again, I need to see where price is at. So if I'm looking at price is obviously bullish. Price is at a potential, could be a potential push for a push up or a higher high. So basically, it could be 2 things. It could be a higher high or a push, meaning price creates a wick and then continues to go up, right? So this is where you go to the 1 hour and you need to see. So basically, the 1 hour is at a higher high right now, most likely. 4 hours at a higher high. 1 hour is at a higher high. So this, you can either trade a pullback. Pullbacks, I need to see a shift of structure. I believe this one, I didn't get any shift of structure. Here, yeah, I would have taken this, but price didn't come back to the level. So yeah, so there's no trade for this day. If you're following direction, though, you could have taken a buy because if I just mark this quickly, over here you had this level of support here, right? So if you set a pending order here and you set a pending order here, and you're exiting at 12 points, you're either going to get stopped out at 1, and then you're going to win the other one. So that's why I suggest to split your risk. This way you have, you give yourself multiple chances to be right. So I hope that makes sense. So Wednesday, personally, for me, nothing. So just Monday and Tuesday so far this week. Thursday, same thing. I need to see where price is at. Price looks like it already created the higher low here. So I look at the 1 hour candle, which is right here. So most likely we're in a push. So I'm looking for buys. So I go to, this is the 1 hour. Now I mark the levels that are closest to price, the CMP. So before 8 o'clock, I got these levels here. I go to the 30-minute, right? And then I noticed that price respected this level here. So this level overlaps. I go to the 15 just to see if there's any further refinement, sorry. So these are the 2 levels that I would take. So if you get stopped out on one, then this one could be the one to take you into profit. Obviously, you can see it's a break and retest, but you're splitting your risk because you don't know, which level price is going to hit. And if it ends up hitting both without taking your stop loss out, then obviously you win both trades. But that's essentially what I do and what I look for. So that's pretty much it. That was Thursday. Now Friday. Friday was supposed to be NFP, but the government is shut down, so I didn't trade on this day, but I did follow price. So what I do in this case scenario, price is still between this higher high and this higher low. So price is technically still bullish. So in this, if it's like this, you just look at the CMP. So what do you see? You see a bullish breakout. So you're thinking buys because there's a bullish breakout. I'm thinking buys. Obviously, if you look at structure on the 1 hour, 1 hour is what? It's bearish, right? So the 1 hour is technically bearish, while the 4 hour is bullish. Then I look for a shift. Let's see if I got any shift. The only level that was broken prior to that shift was this one here. This is the last point before price shifted. You can see, right? Still was respected. So by the time it gets to New York, I'm basically looking for HNS, QMR, double bottom, anything to tell me that price is ready to go up. So on the 15-minute chart, price created a HNS. So you see you have a bearish breakout. And then when the body of this candle closes and the next candle closes and respects the level of the breakout, meaning this level right here, this is how a HNS gets formed. So it goes like that, and then price respects this level and then goes up. I didn't take this trade because I thought NFP was going to come out. I forgot that the government was shut down. But I'm just showing you that's how an HNS is formed. So if you're curious how an HNS forms, this is exactly how it forms. You just have to have the right context. If you're taking it in a random location, it won't make any sense. So that's why you have to stay in session and stay in context. So, okay, let's go to NAS. Sorry guys if this is long-winded. I'm just showing you my approach as best as I can. Maybe one day I'll do a live webinar, and this way you guys can ask me questions, so it might be easier. So let's go to Monday. So just for the sake of this, go to Monday. So this was Monday. For NAS, I wait for the 5 o'clock candle to close. So pretty much what I'm looking at on Monday is that price is bullish, right? But it's at a higher high. So I'm looking for sells basically on Monday. I'm looking for sells, and then once it gets to the New York session, I noticed that price is still bullish. So personally, I didn't take any trade on Monday because I was looking for sells because price had already been overextended. Even though I don't like to predict, I use logic most of the time, but as you can see, price was overextended. That's why I pulled back. I wasn't trying to predict the pullback. I was just trying to see what made the most sense. And to me, what made the most sense was waiting for a reversal. Obviously, I didn't get it until after session. So Monday, I didn't trade. Now we come into Tuesday. So this was Tuesday. So in this scenario, again, price is bullish. This was the higher low, and this is the higher high. And now price is just between the structure, right? So when it's ever like this, I need to look at the CMP. Oops, sorry guys. So I'm just going to change the chart type to line so you can see what I'm talking about. So I marked the breakout level here. Prior to the New York session, we had this breakout level here. This is the CMP, so this is basically all I'm marking. So now you can see here, the 5 o'clock candle ended up respecting it, creating a double top. So basically price is bearish, right? So now I need to see if anything makes sense on the 1 hour. Now on the 1 hour, 4 hour is bearish. 1 hour, you can see here price is bearish. Why is it bearish? Well, you can just take a look at structure. It's pretty obvious, right? You have the lower high, lower low, and then now you need to find a point to sell from. Now, usually I look on the 30 or 15 minute for shift of structure or a setup. But first things first, I look for a present setup. So for me personally, this was the level I was monitoring. There's a QMR level here, but I use this level here because it's a breakout. Once I saw the 8 o'clock candle respected, then that's when I would take an entry. Where do I put my other pending order? I would use this level right here as my other pending order. So just to kind of go down in time frames and show you what I'm talking about. So it's the apex basically of this level here, right? So go to the 15 minute, just so you can see how the time frames work. So this to me was the QMR level, right? Oops, sorry. Sorry guys, apologize. This was the QMR level. You have the high, low, higher high, oops, higher high, lower low, and then I waited for price to come back here. And then I split my position to here and here. So obviously price hit this level and then went down. So this level ended up being valid. I didn't get taken out, I believe. Let me see. My entry was at 9 o'clock, so this is the 9 o'clock candle because I don't trade at 8 o'clock. for NAS, 24651.2, 24651.2. My first take profit is always 100 points, and my stop loss is always 10 points. I always aim for a 1 to 10 to a 1 to 20 on NAS. That's just pretty much what I look for, a 1 to 10 and a 1 to 20. So you can see price ended up working out perfectly, and obviously the 15 minute is still bearish because it's in between this lower high and lower low. So you already have context, logic, and yeah. So this was Tuesday. So now we reset, go back to the 4 hour time frame. And we go to Wednesday now. Let's take a look and see what happened on Wednesday. So let me just mark Wednesday. So this was Wednesday. So Wednesday was a little bit different, a little bit tricky. You can see prior to Wednesday, there's a QMR, which is a reversal, right? So we know the price is bullish, right? Obviously, we know price is going up, right? But I'm following the CMP since price is in between this higher high and higher low. So to me, I'm following CMP. So what do I see? I see this bearish breakout level. I see the 5 o'clock candle respected it. So I'm looking for sells if it makes sense. Obviously, I'm not going to blindly sell. So then I go to the 1 hour time frame and I notice that there's lower low here, and this is the lower high. And then what do I notice? I notice a QMR. So this was the QMR pattern. You have the high, low, higher high, lower low. So I set my pending order at this level here. So this is my This was my setup for Wednesday. So again, same thing. I set my setup here. I do 24659. It may be different on your broker. So I'm using FTMO. So you just need to go to your broker's app and get the correct level. Because if you're using TradingView, it may not be the correct level. So yeah, so this is basically how I set it up for myself. And yeah, that's basically it. So that's what ended up happening. So price tapped it. Perfect trade. This was at, I think 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock. Price ended up going up because obviously, as I mentioned, price is still bullish. So let's just say you wanted to look for buys, totally fine and valid as well. So let's take a look. So as I always mention, you need to have a shift of structure because the 1 hour is bearish. So this would be the level that needs to get broken on the 30 minute. Let's see if the 15 minute, if there's an earlier level. It's the same exact level. So price has become bullish, right? And on the 15 minute, it's still bullish, right? So now what can we see? We can see we can see the QMR for a buy. So this would have been the first level, right? And then this would have been the second level. So you have the low, high, lower low, higher high, and then price tapped this level first. And then you can see it went up and tapped this level, and then price came back to this area. So either of it would have been fine. So as long as you have logic and as long as it makes sense, it's worth the risk because you just don't know what price is going to do. So you have to take the risk. So that was Wednesday. So let's go to Thursday now and take a look and see what happened. Okay, so let's go to Thursday. So Thursday, again, look at the 5 o'clock. Where's the 5 o'clock? It's right up here. What does that tell me? That tells me price is bullish, but right now it's at a higher high. So I'm looking for sells. I'm looking for sells. 1 hour higher high. I'm looking for sells. Let's see if I have any logic for sells. 30 minute, I don't have any logic. 15 minute, I saw this on the 15 minute. I thought I was going to create a QMR, so I marked this level, and I marked this level. And I go to the 5 minute, and then this is basically where I was waiting. But obviously, you can see price never came back. I refined it to this level. So these were the two levels I was waiting for price to get back to. Price never came back, so this was a missed opportunity. So it was just nothing I can do. So that was Thursday. Friday, let's take a look at Friday. Friday was NFP. So prior to the New York session, price has closed right here. Price is bullish, right? So if I'm following what price is doing, I would have expected to buy here for price to go back up. So I need to go to the 1 hour to see if it makes any sense, right? Now, when I go to the 1 hour time frame, it doesn't really make any sense. unless I'm looking to enter here or here, because this is the only levels that make sense. So in order for me to buy at these levels, there has to be a setup. So I go to the 30-minute time frame, right? And this is where I was just looking at. I was like, okay, I don't see any setups to buy, like right here. So I'm not going to buy. There's no setup to buy. Go to the 15-minute. Is there any setup to buy? No setup to buy, so no trade, right? So this was a no trade day for me. So I hope that makes sense. And that's basically how I break it down from the 4-hour to the 15 and what I look for. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks, guys.